If you love Dragon Ball Super, subscribe to LegendMac. How strong is Zoro? Roronoa Zoro, the pirate hunter, the first crew member on the Straw Hat Pirates, the unofficial vice captain of the crew, the man who has the second highest bounty on the Straw Hat Pirates, and one of two members of the Worst Generation that are not captains. This character is definitely a huge one when it comes to the series of One Piece. Zoro's goal is to become the greatest swordsman in the One Piece world, but that asks the question, how strong is Zoro as of now? And that's the thing that many people have been asking, and there's been a lot of debates about this. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I hesitated making this video for pretty much one reason. There are a lot of Zoro fans in the community, and they call these fans the Zoro tards. And if you say anything that's different from their opinion, they might go at you. And honestly, Zoro is my sixth favorite character in the story. He's my sixth favorite character. When I'm looking at strength though, I don't try to do no bias. I try to look at everything without no bias. So that's why I say something and someone goes at me for saying this. Oh, Zoro's this, Zoro's that. I'm like, hey, calm down. I like Zoro too. I'm not. Some guy called me a Sanji fan. I'm like, I like Zoro more than Sanji, but like I have to keep it real with you guys. I can't be just doing no BS. Zoro's the strongest character in the One Piece story. Now, pre-time skip, when it came to the monster trio, the ranking that most fan base have seen, and I also agree with this, is Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. What I noticed in these arcs pre-time skip was Luffy would fight the strongest opponent, Zoro would fight the second strongest, and Sanji would fight the third one. But what's really genius about what Oda did with this is he made Sanji's fight the most easiest, and then Zoro's, and then Luffy's, who had the most difficult fighting the strongest character. So to always give you that factor of their strength gap is not that much, because you've seen the relative ease, the relative difficulty difference between each fight. Now, post time skip, let's be honest here, you would be an idiot to say that Zoro, like, he hasn't even tried in the new world. Everybody in the community knows this, that Zoro hasn't even broken a sweat. His opponents haven't even made him go all out, and it's most of the Straw Hat Pirates we haven't really seen him go all out. But the thing with Zoro is he's just wrecking opponents. Like, he's not even though he's not going all out, he's just wrecking opponents. These opponents are not that strong, and Zoro showing that. You know, things are crazy when Zoro actually took out the Fishman Island antagonist before Luffy did, Hody Jones. But now this is kind of interesting though. I will want to note this, that Hody Jones was not the strongest. He was not at his peak, because after Zoro took him out, he did take a bunch of steroids, and then Luffy took him out again with ease. But I will say this, even if Hody Jones took those steroids, I feel like Zoro would take him out with ease. Hody Jones is not that strong. His purpose is not for strength, it was more for ideology and different other things that are covered. In that same arc, Zoro fought the greatest swordsman on the Fishman Island. He was even better than, because remember in Along Park, Zoro fought Hachi, and Hachi was the so-called greatest swordsman. Really, Hyozo was the greatest swordsman, and he didn't join Arlong's crew. But Zoro took this steroid obsessed freak with ease, pretty much wrecked him, and had a lot of badass moments. And this was shown, like, in pretty much every Straw Hat Pirate wrecked their opponents at Fishman Island. Again, in Punk Hazard, Zoro pretty much was not even trying. He had a female who's his opponent, and he had a badass line talking about, like, do you think a beast would, like, go hesitate? Come on, let's be honest here. He took on Monet with relative ease. He didn't even use haki, and she was all not even getting back to it. Straight fear. She was fearful of Zoro, and it showed that badassness. People have been debating, was that Conqueror's haki? I disagree. I don't think it's Conqueror's haki, but I do think Zoro will have a chance to get Conqueror's haki in the future. Zoro versus Pika. Now this fight, yeah, this is pretty much a hide and seek fight. Pika was kept on running around, and when they actually confronted each other, Zoro's haki was stronger than Pika's, as we've seen, and it pretty much shows that that's how the One Piece world is kind of working recently. If your haki is stronger than the opponents, you're gonna get wrecked by that opponent. Let's be honest here. Tropical Law, he took out Virgo because his armament haki was stronger, and it keeps on going like that. You have to get your haki up, because that's pretty much what the new world is being about. But they did recently introduce Awakening, so let's see what happens there. Now, an opponent that Zoro actually didn't take out with ease, didn't have a badass moment, and actually was overwhelmed by, was Fujitora. Yes, Fujitora, the Admiral. He pretty much had Zoro pinned on the ground. Now, I do want to give credit to Zoro for taking that slide. He sent him a flying attack, a slashing attack, and even Fujitora know, like, oh shit, he can do this. But let's be honest here, Fujitora was the strongest character on Dressrosa, so that's not even saying that much. Now, something I've seen when it comes to the post time skip is pre-time skip, there was a huge debate of Zoro and Sanji. Post time skip, that debate has pretty much not, like, you don't really see it that much. Maybe I'm not looking, but that debate has pretty much ended. People have seen, because Sanji's had a lot of moments in which he was fighting opponents that are way stronger than him, or situational where he's not ready to fight these opponents. Something happened to him. We've seen this many times. But Zoro, yeah, he's been pretty much having an easy time. And a lot of people would like to bring up that Mihawk trained Zoro and Ivankov trained Sanji. I don't really think that's it's a difference. It's still, let's be honest here, that matters, because Mihawk is the greatest swordsman. He trained Zoro. But I want to know how much training did Mihawk actually give Zoro. Was it the basic armament haki, or was there more to it? And that's what I really want to see. But definitely, I feel like Zoro and Sanji's rivalry is still there. It's not just because people don't debate it. I feel like it's still there, and Oda's gonna show more light to it later on in the story. Now, I'll be honest here. Back in the day, like a couple years ago, you wouldn't be surprised if you saw people say that Zoro was the strongest Straw Hat pirate. Let's be honest here. There was a huge debate of Zoro versus Luffy, and I do have a video in the future. Next week, you will see a video. I'm trying to make that video at least 10 minutes. Zoro versus Luffy. We're gonna go out through the whole series and discuss it. So tune in for that. But yeah, people have been saying Zoro stronger than Luffy and Sanji. Easy, strongest Straw Hat pirate. Year 4th kind of numbed that down, but yeah, it's still there. Now, if you want to know my guess of where Zoro is, don't dislike the video. This is just an opinion. I know Zoro is like one of people's favorite characters. He's my 6th favorite character, but I have to look at this unbiasedly. I honestly believe that Zoro is around the same level as characters like Hawkins, X-Drake, Apu, Killer. I do think that he's in that mid-tier worst generation level. The top tier I see as Luffy, Kid, and Law. Those are the top tier, and I feel like this level of mid-tier / upper tier, this is where Zoro is, but that's where I'm gonna lay it down right now. Like I said, we still haven't seen Zoro go all out, so I could be completely wrong. This is just an opinion, and I will say this: end of story, Zoro is gonna be one of the strongest character in One Piece. I'm telling you right now, to be the strongest swordsman in One Piece, you definitely gotta be in that top tier echelons. You talking about Yonko level? Yeah, we're talking about Yonko level, around there. Zoro in his prime, EOS, he's gonna be amazing. His power is gonna be remarkable, and don't doubt me. Right now, I have mid-tier worst generation, but a lot of these worst generation, he's gonna be stronger than. I think only Luffy, Kid, and Law are the ones that I'm not too sure. I don't know. Luffy, I'm sure he's not gonna be stronger than Luffy. Kid and Law, I'm on there. I still think he's not gonna be stronger than them, but it's gonna be close. What are your thoughts on Roronoa Zoro? I know this character is a loved character, and people like to get that biasness. I've seen this in many comment sections. Zoro is the best. Zoro is the greatest, and I probably might even get some unsubs and some dislikes for this video. But this is just an opinion on my beliefs on where I think Zoro's strength is. We still haven't seen him full power, and that's probably gonna change my beliefs as the story goes. I don't know everything about this story. It's just my educated guess on what I think is going to be, but I want to see your different opinions. If you disagree with me, put it in the comment section. Like and share if you enjoyed, dislike and don't share if you didn't enjoy, and subscribe for more One Piece videos. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.